Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Funcraft. Today I just walked out of my house and I saw Marky, one of my traders, slowly but surely swimming or bobbing. Yeah, bobbing. Bobbing across this pond. And he seems to be very determined. He seems to be very determined to reach shore. I wonder if he's ever gonna make it. He's surely not safe out there. Anyway, today I want to do some build upgrades of my basement. And let me tell you, it's about time. It's about time. This place looks absolutely awful, doesn't it? It's just... There's just stuff everywhere and noise from my power generator over here. And last episode I got really inspired because we built this place over here, the secret lab for, well, getting dirty diamonds. In case you missed it, I can take my subscribers over on Twitch and I can put them to work by throwing them in this chest, waiting for a second, let him reach a dispenser, and then press this button. And hey, I got a mumbo jumbo and a mumbo jumbo mustache, getting me dirty diamonds. Hopefully. Mumbo? Dirty? Diamonds? Yep. Okay, I got one. Oh, I forgot. I think I'm exporting it. Yeah, I'm exporting it here. So one big change since the last episode here on YouTube is that I've made this machine here, the rock cleaner, which basically takes the dirty gems and cleans them. Yeah, it cleans them. So dirty Certus gem with water and power turns into Certus quartz, which I'm then importing back into my ME system, and I can access from any of my terminals. And I guess an added feature is that we get a decorative mumbo jumbo head from that as well. At this moment in time, now that I can clean my gems, I think I'm gonna change these for reading diamonds from our system, and then what I can do is just make sure that this has a filter for diamonds. And so now if I think I can just send the dirty diamonds back into my MA system and they should appear. Yeah, there they are. And then they should get clean. And if I send these back, we have a total of 155 and they should go up. Yep. Look at that. We are cleaning diamonds. We're cleaning diamonds. By the way, this rock cleaner was mega expensive. Check this recipe out. 10 blocks of diamonds and an ultimate ingot in a combination crafter. This thing is really weird. This thing here, yeah, it looks really weird. Bottom line is it uses a lot of power to infuse an item in the middle with items on the pedestals. And in the case of the rock cleaner, it was 10 blocks of diamonds and an ultimate ingot, which has this recipe. And every single crystal tin has this recipe. These are nether star nuggets, by the way. So this was quite a craft that we did together on stream. I think it took me something like 4 hours to put everything together. But we did it, and now we have a rock cleaner. It's easy to get distracted in Funcraft, because today, what I was going to say was, last episode we built this lab, and it really inspired me to try and design this whole place. And instead of going with sort of like a rugged, old factory style on this level here, like I was starting to do here, I think I want to go with a laboratory feel. Iskall's laboratory underneath his house. Kind of like Dexter. Dexter's Laboratory, the Cartoon Network series. I think that could be really cool. Now for this I'm going to use a lot of white concrete, and luckily I have like 3,000 of this. But I think I want to set up a machine, first of all, that will make sure to always keep, say, 1,000 white concrete in stock. Now this is the third time I automate concrete in Funcraft, but this time I'm going to do it with the help of Applied Energistics and make sure that we keep stock of white concrete. I also would like to make gray concrete so that we always have, yeah, like 1,000 gray and 1,000 white. I think that will be really cool and really handy, specifically if this entire floor is to be like a modern laboratory like that. First things first, we have to dig out a little bit of a room for this farm. And I saw a lot of comments asking me or telling me to make a Tinker's Construct hammer because they're so nice to dig with. Now I already have one, and you're absolutely right. They're just the best. They're just like the most addictive thing ever to be able to dig a 3x3, specifically when you just want to make a quick small little room. One really cool thing with modded for me is creating an infrastructure in your base where you have access to two things mainly: your Applied Energistics system, which is all your storage, and your power. So I've just finished digging down a cable this red thing over here, transporting power from our central storage of power all the way down to this room, which is going to be the room where we set up our concrete making. Now, last time I automated concrete, I used block placers and block breakers, and then I dipped the concrete powder in water, and then I broke them, and that way I got it from powder to hardened concrete. But I've learned that you can use these tanks. I haven't actually tested this, so what I'm going to do is have a sink down there, and then we just want to extract, so shift right click on these, and that should fill these up with water. Nice. So instead of having block placers, I should be able to just send my concrete into these tanks, and then yeah, that should make it into concrete, in theory at least. So next up is going to be our crafter, and that's going to be sitting back here. Now this crafter is upgraded and it has place for 4 recipes, and I just realized I don't know if I need 4 recipes because I'm just planning on making gray concrete. Now can I do something like this? Oh, I can. That's brilliant. Okay, so let's save that. So you're going to be making gray and white concrete, provided we give you power, which you actually have a little bit of, but we need to make sure you have constantly. And I love my power generating humming behind me. It's so loud though. Anyway, that's power connected up, so now you should have no problem refilling your power. And now we just need to provide you with the items. So you need sand and gravel and the dice. Actually, maybe I should put it right in between the tanks. That could look pretty cool. So you sit there instead for now. That does give me less space to send things to you though, I guess. Just take a decision, Iskall. For goodness sake, it doesn't matter where the crafter sits. There. The crafter is going to sit there. So now we need to provide it with gravel and sand. So what I'm going to do is try and be smart about this. We're going to have an ME interface there, and this lets us access our system. So if I put cobblestone in this, it's sent back to the system. Now it can also auto extract stuff for us. Now remember, I have this room over here, which is actually creating sand through crushing down cobblestone in a double crusher, and it's creating gravel by crushing down cobblestone in a crushing factory. And this machine here basically keeps a stock of all the things in our system at all times. So that means we have basically infinite sand and gravel at this point in time, so it shouldn't be any problem to use some of it for this project here. So what you can do in an interface is if I put gravel here, it's going to keep a stack of gravel here at all times, and I can take it out, and since we have that automation room, it will make new gravel as needed. And then we'll do the same with sand. And then in our crafter, we're going to configure this to have designated slots for sand and designated slots for gravel, and for the dice, so white. Oh, I need to shut you off. Oh, that's annoying. Let's try this again. White dye, sand, gravel, and then I need gray dye because that's the other thing I want to craft with it. Gray dye can go in there, and then we press the remember button, and now I should be able to empty this if I want to, and all the things should be fine. Okay, so next up, let's put an item duct here that's going to send items from this interface into that crafter. So if I do that and then ignore redstone, we should see this filling up with sand and gravel. Yeah. Now I may want a little bit of a faster servo here, so what I can do is take a white servo and upgrade it with maybe Enderium. Yeah, I do have a little bit of Enderium left over from my mega craft. And active. Yeah, that's a little bit faster. That's a little bit faster. Good. Now we also got to make sure it sends bone meal, and we got to make sure that it sends gray dye. And bone meal, as we all know, comes from bones. So you can either craft bones down, but in modded Minecraft you can actually crush this stuff in a crusher, and you'll get 6 bone meals from that, which is a lot better. So I think that's what I want to do. Add that to my auto crafting grid over here. And then we're going to teach my system a processing pattern, which is going to be bone here equals 6 bone meal. That's all my system knows. It's kind of stupid, but it will think that if I take a bone and send it to wherever I put this pattern, I'm gonna get 6 bone meals, which is essentially what's gonna happen. And over here at my auto crafting with machines, I have 7 channels in use, which means I have 1 more spot, which is all I need, but it's also scary. So I'm gonna put my double crusher there. We're gonna have an interface underneath that, and we will put auto split items on. And now you're getting power. So then if I put the pattern in here, I think I also have to output it from this machine. So maybe if I connect up 2 more of these item ducts and then put a servo in there, always active extract, that should pick up the crushed bones and send it back to the system. Let's try this out. So let's request 10 bone meal. like so, and run quickly and see if it's working. Yeah, it's definitely working. Look at that, it sent the bone in there, and then the bones get sent back into the system. Sweet. So now my system know how to efficiently craft bone meal. I love that. So now that we know how to make bone meal, what we can do is put a crafting card upgrade in this interface and put bone meal as an extract there. And what that is going to do is, if I ever run out of bone meal, it's going to craft more bone meal using that crusher from bones. So now we're basically using bones as our base material, if that makes sense. Now there's one more important thing I have to do here, and that is to put those two gray concrete powder in those slots and the white in those and there, and then press remember again so that we allocate these output slots to gray concrete. That's how we're going to control whether or not we should craft up more of the concrete powder. Anyway, I may be making this a little bit too complicated. Hopefully I'm not. But now we're going to take the concrete powder and we're going to send it into these tanks. And so on this side, we're going to say white concrete is allowed to go through. And on this side, we will install a servo and say gray concrete powder is whitelisted and allowed through. And on these tanks, I'm going to switch this to active with a signal. So that means they need a redstone signal to do anything. So now I should be good to just enable that and enable that. We should see concrete, hopefully going into these. I mean, I didn't really test this. Oh, maybe I didn't have any concrete in here. Yeah, so that's being sent out and that should be ending up there. Nice. But because it doesn't have a redstone signal, it doesn't do anything. That's very good. That's very, very good, because that's where my level emitters come into place. So we're going to have a cable coming out on either side. This thing is going to look like a big robot, but basically we're going to have cables on either side and a level emitter there. And you are going to be checking for gray concrete in the system, and then on the other side you're going to be checking for white concrete in the system. White concrete goes in there, and then if we have emit a signal when levels are below the limit. Yes. So now basically if I have less than 1,000, it's going to emit a signal and turn the concrete into white concrete powders, or white concrete. Sweet. And so this one, we're going to say gray concrete less than emit levels when levels are below than 1,000. Boom. So you can see already the system checks, and we have over 1,000 of white, so that's off, whereas this is on, but it's not doing anything because obviously it doesn't have any more concrete powder. The very last thing we need to do is send the items that is finished back into this interface, and I could just pop another interface up here, but then I'd have to use another channel, which is never good. So I think I'll reconfigure this slightly. I mean, it does look pretty cool, to be honest. I do really like it. I do really like it. Usually I do really like these pipes and stuff in modern Minecraft. So this needs to be ignored, and this needs to be ignored, because they are always going to be sending the result back into the interface, which sends it back into the system, and then you needs to have new servos. Nice. So that should in theory work. Now all we got to do is make sure we can provide the different things, and we need to provide gray dye. We need to provide gray dye, which we don't have at the moment. Now long term, we need an ink farm. We need an ink farm, and we also need a mob farm that can generate bones, because the bones that I'm using are actually the bones that I get from my sub fights on sub battles on the live stream. So I don't actually have an income of bones, so eventually this will run out, but it should last quite a while. However, we don't have any ink, or do I have any ink? I don't think I have a single. Oh, hold on, I have 5 ink sacks. Yeah, I got 5 ink sacks in my system, and that's not gonna do it. And looking at the gray dye recipe, we know that we can mix any white dye and black dye and get gray dye, but you can also get it from pile of ashes, which I think are super common in the nether. So I'm gonna take a trip to the nether and see if I can mine up a bunch of that stuff. Now the nether in modded is a bit more dangerous, but I think all of these ash piles over there are actually the stuff we need. This is basalt, so that's not the same thing. But it looks like this is my... Oh, yes. Okay. And I have my excavator, which mines 3x3. Is this the stuff? It is. Oh, my goodness. Okay. I'm going to get so much gray dye from this. This is going to be ridiculous. This stuff is absolutely everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. I'm glad I checked the recipes. Now, I'm kind of curious how much of this stuff I've got so far. After, like, I don't even know, 3 minutes of digging. I feel like I want to go back, because I do think I have enough. But also, it's very addictive. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, let's send this back, and then let's use my teleporter to go back home. So I got 4,400 plus the stuff that I have in my in my backpack. Okay, I definitely need to add this to my storage bunker. Otherwise my system is just going to be completely filled up. Pile of ash can go on this wall over here, I suppose, because it is a mineable resource. So you can go in there, and then I need to upgrade that drawer. 2 gold upgrades and 1 void upgrade. Now this can hold 8 times 8. I don't even know. It can hold a lot. It can hold a lot. 512 stacks. However much that is. Now I just have to clean out wherever all of these things went. Yeah. I have to clean out all of this and send it back into the system. That's 4,000 items hovering right around me. Okay, let's send them back into the system, and they should all go in that drawer and not take up any of the space in my storage system. So 4,977. Are they all in here? 77 stacks? Yeah, I guess that's correct. So then the last thing we need to do is teach the system that one of these in a crafting grid turns into... Oh, it's 2 gray dye as well. Alright, let's put that in a molecular assembler, which is basically like a crafting table. And now we should grab some gray dye, and I kind of want a stack of this. Let's see if this works. So 64, start, gray. Yeah, look at that, it's crafting. Oh, that's so satisfying. Back in our concrete making room, we should be able to validate the crafting as well, because I have no gray dye in the system right now, but if I put that there, yeah, you can see that the system is crafting it up. Oh, that is that is absolutely awesome, and it should be sending it in here. Nice. It's not the fastest thing though, by the looks of things. It's actually quite slow, but because it's a stock keeping thing, we should be okay. There is a pressurized fluid tank from Ender.io, but this requires dark steel and fused quartz, which we can only get once we get an alloy smelter, which, if you remember, costs an industrial machine chassis, which is this mega recipe of doom there. So yeah, that's gonna be a little while till we can upgrade this tank. But I think that will be fine. It will slowly but surely, very slowly but surely, make us gray concrete. And we can see it ticking in. I mean, it's very satisfying to see stuff ticking in. Now, I should make sure that we also have this in our storage bunker. Oh, I love it. I love automation so much. So with concrete automated, I think it's time to start cleaning all of this mess up. And I'm gonna focus on this room here and see if I can get that same laboratory style using white concrete, some gray concrete, and then maybe for the floor, I'll use the marble that I used. There's a lot of things to clean up. There's a lot of vending machines with good trades to clean up as well that I just gotta put away from now because I don't really have a space for all of these guys. After a lot of hours, I'm starting to get a good feeling about this style, and I think it looks really, really cool. The most important thing with this room is that it's my fart room. You know, the room where you stand and do most of your things. On the Hermitcraft server, it is my storage room, the Xbox chamber of doom. And so I want to be able to access my system. So I got my system in here, and I got my pattern terminal for making new recipes, and I have the pattern or interface terminal to put the recipes in the different machines around my system. I then have a water tank so that I can pull up water. I've got an enriching factory, a smelting factory, and a crushing factory, as well as a crusher. And I think these are the main machines that I use frequently, so I can smelt stuff easily and yeah, all of that stuff. And that's kind of the main purpose of this room. Now, it's still a bit empty on the walls, and I do want to put some more stuff on the walls. But this room is, yeah, it's not the biggest, is what I found out when I was working here. But I think it's looking pretty cool. I mean, we got Mumbo on a kitchen counter, or science lab counter in this regards. And I've got an anvil over here. I'm using these lights from Ender.io, which are actually really cheap to make. It's just 2 pieces of iron, a glowstone, and some glass, and then to invert them so that they're on by default, you just add a redstone torch. And I think these are probably one of my favorite lamps. Speaking about lamps, I wanted to do something in the center here that's very, very old school. If this still works. This is energized glowstone. Yep, you can totally make liquid glowstone in modded, which is one of the cool things that is available. But if I place this there, that should float up in the middle. Yes! Yes, and is it gonna stay? Because this is the issue. Sometimes it doesn't always stay. But that is staying, and that is looking really cool in the middle. These are coal strips. Basically, you can saw up some of the vanilla blocks into strips, and unfortunately I wanted to do that with concrete, but that didn't seem to work. So that's with coal. And I think that looks pretty good. We don't need these. That should float up without having these. I'm not sure what would be the coolest. Maybe, just maybe, glass panes would look cool. I don't know if I like that, actually. I wonder if I can saw up glass. Ooh. We can make vertical glass slabs. Okay, and then glass panels and glass covers. I feel like I'm spending way too much time on this one pillar, but that does look pretty cool. And it also gave me the idea that you can, of course, use trapdoors, the frame trapdoors that are in Funcraft, which you can put any block in. So I could, in theory, have trapdoors go up like this and put whatever block I want, like I've done here. And one problem with plain modded Minecraft is that there are so many different options when it comes to building. But I'm pretty happy with this as it is at the moment, and I may very well change this up in the center. I'm not entirely sold on it. If you got any ideas, do please leave it down below in the comments. But I think we did pretty good here. We automated concrete, we put concrete on a stock keeping thing, and I at least got started into changing my basement from stone and just mess everywhere into a very, very, very bright lab. And I like it. I like it a lot. So I really do hope that you've enjoyed this episode, and if you did, do hit the like button down below, and if you're brand new, consider subscribing, and I will see you dudes in the next episode.